How can I simplify expressions involving the laws of exponents? All right. So this first expression is simply looking at, you have the same base and you're multiplying the same base with different exponents. So what you do is you just add your exponents together. So 5 plus 3 plus 4. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. So this is equal to x to the 12th. So that's how that law of exponents works. That's called the product of powers. This next one involves both the product of powers kind of, but it's really kind of a power to a power. So you have this expression, 3x squared y to the 5th. And the end result is that basically you're going to take, and that quantity is squared itself. The end result is basically you're going to multiply each exponent by 2. And in that case, you would say this is 3 to the first power. And so 1 times 2 is 2. 3 squared is 9. 2 times 2 is 4, so x to the 4th. And 2 times 5 is 10, so y to the 10th. How come that works, right? Well, if you write this out in expanded form, it's 3x squared y to the 5th times 3x squared y to the 5th. At this point, you could expand it out further and put a multiplication symbol between each term, and then you can rearrange them, but at that point, you're doing x squared times x squared, so you can combine that into x to the 4th. 3 times 3 can be combined into 9, and y to the 5th times y to the 5th could be combined into y to the 10th using the product of powers property where you add the exponents together. And so you end up with 9x to the 4th, y to the 10th. Now, here's a little more complicated one where we're dividing powers. So in this case, you look here, you can just do 10 divided by 2. That equals 5. Y to the 6th divided by y to the 3rd. How do I figure that out? Well, in this case, you just subtract the exponents. So 6 minus 3 is 3. So it would be x to the 3rd. Y to the 5th divided by y squared. So 5 minus 2 is 3, so y to the 3rd. Now, all these exponents are positive. We do want to avoid negative exponents when we write expressions. And so in this case, we have some negative exponents. But this ends up being where I'm kind of doing the product of powers in here. And so I just rewrite this equation where I do 2 times 3. I reorder them using the associative property of multiplication. 2 times 3, x to the 3rd times x to the negative 2, y to the negative 4th times y to the 5th. Then I simply add the exponents together and my two constant terms. I just multiply them, 2 times 3 to get 6. I add my exponents together, and coincidentally 3 minus 2, 3 plus negative 2 becomes 3 minus 2, becomes 1, so x. And then negative 4 plus 5 is 1, so y, 6x, y. And that's that. And again, this is how can I simplify expressions using the laws of exponents.